Maguire is still gone at the end of the season.
I'm sure he is, but now he will leave as a captain who's lifted a Manchester United trophy. And if I were him, I'll put that at the top of my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, Carabao Cup, guys. Carabao Cup. But okay,
so what's next?
A cup's a cup.
Hello, and welcome to the week that Manchester United are back. One of them is delighted, one of them is disappointed. I could hardly care less. Welcome to this week's episode of Yahoo Footballing Weekly with me, Yahoo columnist Neil Humphreys.
And me, Yahoo editor Chia Keong, and a very delighted Manchester United fan, Raushan.
Hey, happy to be here. Glory, glory, Man United.
Love it to have Raushan on the show. Thanks for doing it, my friend. We know each other outside. Big Man U fan, also a big Singapore football fan, so stay tuned for that in part 2. First things first, let's get it out of the way. Man U Carabao Cup champions. Raushan, did they win the World Cup this week?
Yeah.
Because I seem to think they
Wow,
did.
my social media is like flooded with like, we're back. England's football's coming home. No,
Can I speak?
Can.
All right. So it does feel a bit like they won the World Cup. I get it. But when you wait that long and when you're a club like Manchester United that's used to success, you can understand
6
the
years,
euphoria almost. Yeah, 6 years.
6 years.
And 6 years is a long, long time, especially when your rival club, Liverpool, were doing so well in those interim 6 years. It's a bit of a feel-good factor is back. And are Manchester United back? I don't know, too early to say, but it's certainly a marker in the right direction.
I'm loving it because if nothing else, it completely vindicates what I said on this podcast last week, that success sells more than controversy, right? We did one clip. I said something about Ten Hag last week, 100,000 views just on Instagram. Once again, thank you, Man U fans. I'm guessing it's Man U fans. I don't think Liverpool fans. I don't think Liverpool fans are watching it. But it just shows you, Raushan, there's a bounce. There's a feel-good factor back for Man U in Singapore.
Yeah, certainly. I think you feel that all the way here, but back in the UK as well, you can feel in the stadium it's bouncing. The players are finally playing for the badge, pulling in the right direction, and that's had a big knock-on effect the world over, Singapore included. Suddenly, Man U fans are waking up with a smile. I used to regret watching a game Sunday night because that will set me up for failure for the rest of the week. But the number of times on these past few months, on a Sunday, it set me up to smile and be bright and chirpy for the rest of the week is absolutely brilliant.
Now I'm suffering.
Exactly. That's why I get the best of both worlds.
just don't care.
For the last 10 years, it's been Liverpool fantastic, plenty to write about. Man U crap, plenty to write about. Now it's switched around. I've got him happy, you whining.
Yep.
I couldn't be happier.
We spoke about this off air, right? It's cyclical. Both clubs can't seem to compete at the same level.
We should have one time when both of us were great. That would be it.
Hopefully we'll get there.
I'm
War
loving
III,
the
I think.
tribalism. All right, so let's get into the why. You're a long-time fan. What has Ten Hag, we've got our own opinions, what has Ten Hag done so unbelievably well in less than a season?
I think he's taken the whole project by the scruff of the neck, and managers who've come and gone haven't exactly done that. He's gone into the club and decided that he does it his way, and he's got great buy-in from the players. We talk about winning the trophy feels like the World Cup. Winning the trophy gives him tangible success to tell the players, look, you follow my ways, we're going to keep winning. And I think Ten Hag's done that. He's had so much to deal with, so much difficult things to deal with, dropping the captain, Cristiano Ronaldo and his overinflated ego. The club was in disarray. Players were not playing for the badge. Look at the improvements he's made on the likes of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, on the likes of Marcus Rashford, on the likes of Luke Shaw. So many players have been better under Ten Hag. And considering how bad a start they had to the season, those 2 results against Brighton and then Brentford, to be where we are now is testament to Ten Hag and his man management. And apart from that, one more thing I want to add on is he reads the game so well. Manchester United have had 19 substitutes score goals off the bench this season. That's the highest across Europe's top 5 leagues. And that's because this bald-headed, beautiful man is standing on the touchline, reading the game, and then making a change when it's needed. Not saying I'll give him 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to do it right now, and he does it so well.
I still love the way you say we. Which position did you play? I love the we, the tribalism we. You made a key point there. For me, people talk about the Carabao Cup being a turning point. Sacking Ronaldo saved United's season. I think when football historians look back at the definitive turning point, it won't be the Carabao Cup. For me, it will be the sacking of Ronaldo. If you look at the Ferguson era, there are 3 distinct eras, 3 distinct squads, and it all involved sacking or removing key players. If you go back to the late 80s, he got rid of favourites like Whiteside, Paul
Shows
McGrath.
his age.
and Strachan. It does show my age. In the 90s, famously, of course, Ince, Kanchelskis and Sharp. 2000s, you got Keane, Beckham and Yap Stam. It doesn't matter what the talent, the brand, the household name is. If he feels it's disrupting the dressing room harmony in any way, they're gone. That was the real template of Ferguson. He did that over 20 years. Ten Hag has done it in a season. If you look at other clubs like Liverpool, maybe they're hanging on to one or two players a bit too long. But Guardiola goes in, Man City, Joe Hart, fan favourite, gone. Ten Hag goes in, Cristiano Ronaldo, legend, gone. That is why I think he is the natural, almost successor, kindred spirit to Ferguson.
Yeah, but also in another way, he feels different. I mean, although there's a lot of similarities in what he's doing, in terms of doing the my way or the highway kind of management, but he's also calmer and he's also willing to give the players a bit more time to buy into his methods.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays less mind games than Ferguson, during press conferences. Yeah. So I think full credit to him. He is the manager for this kind of generation. The current generation of players who are a bit more. I mean, they wouldn't. I don't think Ferguson's autocratic style will work in this kind of things. You need a bit more consultative, a bit more. Not coddling, but it's in the sense that explaining to the players, this is the way to go. This is the way to go. Do it this way. Do it this way. So I think Eric Ten Hag will make is like you said, the proper successor to Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, because I mean the sheepskin coat manager has gone, right? I wasn't saying that specifically about individual man-to-man style of management. It's you're right, because what's really changed, it's not that players are necessarily more mollycoddled, although you could argue they are, it's they have the power now.
Yeah.
The power balance in the dressing room has shifted. You give me a hard time, I make one phone call to my agent, I'm gone tomorrow. Which Ronaldo could threaten Man U with.
And he did.
And he did. Exactly right. Ten Hag couldn't care less.
Yeah.
And he played it beautifully, to your point. He didn't rant and rave. He just did his press conferences, kept a level head, then he was gone.
I think that's one thing about Ten Hag. He doesn't seem to use the media to complain at all. The whole Ronaldo situation, it played out. He handled it backdoors. He informed his club of his stand and they got rid of Ronaldo. Similarly, they went through this hectic schedule since the World Cup. Not once has Eric Ten Hag come out and complain about the fixture list. He's just basically got on with it. And that's infectious to the players. They're like, my manager's not complaining. Why should I complain? And I think to both of your points, you say Ten Hag is a manager for the new age and you say he's akin to Sir Alex Ferguson. I think he's almost a happy cross of both.
Of course.
He has that hardness in him, that steel in him, but he has the soft touch. Sancho needed the soft touch. He took good care of him and he's worked him back into the team. Same with Ronaldo. He didn't like him. He put him out. But with Harry Maguire, still captain of the club, he knows how to manage that situation because players these days, whether they can take too much or not, they have huge egos. Huge, much bigger than it was in the 80s, in the 90s. I'm sure social media is a big part to play. But he knows almost how to get them on side without hurting their egos. And I think
Just
he
need
deserves
a bit of dance for those.
Exactly.
But I tell you, softly, Maguire is still gone at the end of the season.
I'm sure he is, but now he will leave as a captain who's lifted a Manchester United trophy. And if I were him, I'll put that at the top of my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, Carabao Cup, guys, Carabao Cup. But okay,
So what's next?
A cup's a cup.
So what's next for Man United? Do you think the next steps will be even more crucial than right now?
100%. I think I wrote this on Twitter yesterday. This is either as good as it gets or the start of something really, really
it's
special.
It's a start.
And I hope it's a start. Both of you said it, not me, but I agree.
It is.
But I think now there's obviously talk about the ownership, what happens next, how that plays out. Will have a knock-on effect on how much Ten Hag is going to spend and how he's going to beef up the club. Because let's not run away from it. Clubs are spending left, right and centre in the Premier League. To compete, you're going to have to spend money. I think Ten Hag needs to be backed in that way. Whether he is or not, I think he can do no wrong. Look what he's got out of 2 loan signings from Weghorst and Sabitzer. I think this man, in my eyes, can't do no wrong.
Brilliant job, but as you said there, he is a stopgap. And I think he's done a very good job.
Yeah.
I think he showed a very one-dimensional, fickle analysis to say he's not scoring goals, when clearly he did not sign a 20-goal-a-season striker.
No.
He signed a big lump to hold the ball up, to get the attacking trio in behind.
Rashford.
Yeah, for Rashford, for Fernandes and so on, and whoever comes in on the other side, Anthony or whatever it is. So he's done the job well. You know, you can't dispute that. Discipline, don't underestimate it. As I said in the piece, it's funny how the leaks in the dressing room have miraculously stopped, right?
Yeah.
They were leaking like a sieve when it was the PE teacher? What was his name? Ralph Ragnick. Whatever his name, right? When he was there and Solskjaer was there, there were leaks on an almost daily basis, completely stopped. Happy camp, yes, but also a discipline camp. To your point, of course, they need a striker. They need a centre-back. They possibly need another centre midfielder, you could argue. David De Gea is not going to go on forever. But enjoy this moment while it lasts, Raushan, because once you're bought by the Qataris, all the goodwill goes out of the window.
I disagree.
You lose the moral high ground.
I disagree.
You lose the moral
I
high
don't think
ground.
Manchester United ever have moral high ground. It comes with the territory of being Manchester United. You can't do anything right in the eyes of opposing fans.
Now
right?
you're being a martyr.
It's tribal. It's tribal.
Where's my violin?
I
Where's my violin?
I believe the Qatari ownership will just be another stick to whack Manchester United with, and I think we can draw a line between what the Qataris stand for and what they're going to bring to the club. So time will tell.
Okay, I disagree on the last part. I don't think you'll ever, because you can't have it both ways. You can't say it's a new era, players are more sensitive, we're much more in tune with feelings and emotions. That same mindset will also apply to the human rights record of whoever buys the club.
Fair.
You can't hide anymore. It's not the 80s, it's not the 90s with social media and investigative journalism and exposés. They will be onto that ownership morning, noon and night. I can see the Guardian writers right now, like they did with the World Cup.
I don't think it's a Manchester United problem, though. I think that's a problem for UEFA and FIFA to handle, to do due diligence. As Manchester United, as the entity that they own, they're just there to make use of what the Qataris bring along.
But finally, on a sort of generally the only neutral here perspective is that Man U, as I said last week, with the global brand, the global goodwill, the economic powerhouse that they already are, plus unlimited funds, I cannot objectively see how that's a good thing for English football. It's good for Manchester United. It's good for. So we'll move to Liverpool next, but it's good for Liverpool. Won't be able to compete. Tottenham won't be able to compete. Arsenal, forget it. It's only Manchester City, but they don't have the global brand that Man U has.
I think how conveniently you leave out Chelsea. But, well,
I mean, yeah, you can talk about. Well, let's move on to Chelsea then. Come on, let's get stuck into Chelsea. The continuing mediocrity of Chelsea. But before we do that, I must get the shout out. Thank you for all your comments this week. What do you think about Manchester United? Is it a one-off trophy or has the new empire started? Send all your comments to
Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo_MY on Twitter, and Yahoo SEA on TikTok.
All right, Chelsea, the continuing mediocrity of Chelsea. What do we think?
I think Potter's gone. I think he's tried and tried. Since he's taken over this team, he's made 74 changes to that lineup. What does that suggest? He doesn't know. He can have the best players in the world, i.e. Enzo Fernandez, whoever comes along. He doesn't know. Potter doesn't have the magic potion. So I think he...
you like that one, don't you?
I did.
You spent a bit of time on that one.
I did.
I
All
can
the way
tell.
on my MRT.
Too bad it's not for Harry.
Too bad. No one's made that connection before.
Well done, Neil. But the thing is, I do think he's given all these tools. And with Todd Bowley, he's obviously gone out on a whim and spent all this money. He's going to need tangible rewards for his investments. I don't think Potter's the guy.
Oh, fair enough. I think he has, at the very least, underachieved. There was quite some expectation that he will replicate his Brighton magic, but it doesn't happen. That said, the treatment of Potter is appalling.
Of course.
The fans treatment, especially the death threats.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's a Chelsea culture really. Once the things don't go well, sack the manager.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. It's not about the players. And from what I see in the Spurs and Chelsea match, the players are not playing at all. They are all doing their own thing. There's no cohesiveness in their attack. They only scored one goal this month. It's like, why don't we blame the players? Because they've been bought at a high price? No. They rather blame the manager and giving death threats to the manager. That's just disgusting.
Yeah.
And as much as we think that Potter is struggling at the moment, he's still a human after all. And then the things we do, the things we said to that is it's distasteful.
I completely agree. You know, shocking revelation. The death threats to not only Graham Potter, but to his family, to his children. It's just the latest reminder, that some football fans are really, really stupid. There's no nice way of saying this. They are dumb as dogs, you know what. They just are, right? It's a football match. Guys, for heaven's sake, I wish you applied this same level of anger and apoplectic rage to what's going on in Ukraine or Syria and Turkey. But no, you lost a few football matches. I mean, who are these people? They go online, they send death threats to the man and his family. Who are you? I mean, you know, Plankton has more intelligence than you do. So that's the first. And look, you could argue, as you rightly point out, they are arguably sackable offences, right? He's got, one win in 15, won twice in 15 matches. They cannot score. He was there at the club when they bought the most expensive player in British transfer history. The key signings are not performing, whether it's Felix, Sterling, Fernandes. I'm not saying he needs to keep his job. I'm just saying these are not life-taking offences. And for heaven's sake, guys, please, just grow up. Really, grow up. It's a game. Grow up.
I agree. I think there are things bigger than football, and these fans certainly have crossed the line. Whether that comes from a Chelsea fan point that they are entitled, they almost feel like they are entitled to success is another argument, because I think under previous ownership, all they were used to was winning trophies, whether it be the Premier League or the Champions League or Cups, and their previous owner, I beg your pardon, was trigger happy. He'd sack a manager midway through, a new one would come, and they'd have this massive bounce where they go on to win the cup. With Potter, I do agree that they have crossed the line, but it probably comes from them not being able to accept where their club is at this point. There are many other ways to take out the frustration. Definitely, you shouldn't cross personal boundaries, but you can understand from a fan perspective if you go week in, week out to support your club. And to your point, they are served absolute garbage by the way of not taking shots, players not playing with conviction. As a Man U fan, I can understand that because we went through many years of that. So there must be frustration within the fans. And with Potter, unpopular opinion, but I think he's overrated. You know how with English players, there's always this plus 50 million for English players.
There's an English premium.
And English premium. And their skill levels are suddenly hyped up to an unreal level. With Potter, I just feel there was this massive agenda, shall we call it, to get an English manager into a top job. That they pushed for Potter.
But his track record was good.
At Brighton.
At all levels. He's coached in Europe, he's coached internationally, he's coached lower league, and he's had success, pretty much, relative success at almost every club he's been at.
I don't disagree, but relative success to what Chelsea's ambitions are definitely will not translate, and I think that's what's playing out now. And he may have been a big fish in a small pond. To throw that big fish into a bigger pond would make him small.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, except to say, then how does anyone ever get an opportunity? How does the big fish swim in the big pool if no one throws them in the big pool once in a while?
I agree. And for his sake, for Graham Potter's sake, hopefully, I don't think it'll work out at Chelsea, just going to say it. I think when he does leave, hopefully he finds his feet and comes back with confidence, because we've seen David Moyes, to your point, take the biggest job there was in football and then almost go into the darkness that is the great world of football. Find himself at West Ham now, where he's had 2 good seasons, done really well with them, but essentially now they're struggling again.
I'd rather have Potter than David Moyes, but that's just me.
I think with Potter, at least there was a brand of football that you could see with Brighton that caught a lot of plaudits. To be fair, Zerbi's come in and done an excellent job. But with Potter, I just feel maybe going from Brighton, he should have gone, with all due respect to Spurs fans, gone to Spurs first, where expectations are slightly lesser, and then gone on to Chelsea.
Well, speaking of less expectations, let's get to Liverpool. Wrap this up quickly with Liverpool. Klopp has finally spoken out this week. We need signings.
Yes, a clear indication to the owners that we better get something going right now. Get the targets ready. By the time the season ends, I want the players coming in straight away. Before the season, the pre-season begins, I want them in straight away, because I need to drill them with our pressing styles, and So clear indication that yes, it's time to let some of the players go. I think he hasn't actually said that before, and then he has consistently defended the underperforming players, but I think there's no hiding it anymore. Especially with Manchester United coming up on Monday.
Yes. Which I'm going to get to, because I noticed you omitted that from the rundown, but I'm going to make sure it's included at the end. All right, let's get to Liverpool. For me, biggest challenge Klopp has faced since he's been at the club by far. He's rebuilding an entire squad pretty much. You could say he did the same thing when he took over. The difference is the gap then is a chasm now. I know the Fenway Sports Group cannot compete with Chelsea or Manchester United, particularly if they get bought by whoever, and Manchester City. So the gulf is already wider. This is a massive overhaul. Yeah. And to be slightly critical here, I don't know how it was allowed to roll out for so long. Yep. They need one, if not two, centre-backs. All right,
talking of three.
Well, no one could have quite anticipated the quite rapid decline of Virgil van Dijk. I know it happened to the great players like Rio Ferdinand and others, but that was at the tail end of their career. Van Dijk is still relatively young for a centre-back. What is he, 31? 30. Relatively young, right? At least two centre-backs, at least two central midfielders, and at least one striker, at least one good striker. We're talking Mane levels of striking. That's a spine of a team. That's 5 players. In the current market, you're talking 300 million-ish. And that's averaging what, 70, 80 million pounds a player? I don't think Liverpool have that.
I don't think the rebuild will be complete by next season.
No.
I think they will get the right players. The mantra that keeps going for them is get the right players, not just go out and get as many players as you like. So
the big question to you is, do you care?
As Ten Hag famously said, era's come to an end. So this one looks like it's going to come to an end. To your point about Klopp, yes, they need a massive overhaul. But are they going to get it without Champions League football? Without the carrot of being able to afford your new signings Champions League football? Is Jude Bellingham honestly going to come for the love of Klopp or for the love of Jordan Henderson?
I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't wish to be mean to Liverpool fans. I don't think Bellingham's coming now.
And I agree. I didn't think I would do this, but I agree with Neil completely. I think they're a bit late to the party in terms of this rejuvenation. They let Mane go when they should have kept him and let Salah go.
That was a mistake.
This one season.
They gave Salah this £400,000 weaker contract. We talked about player power. Purely shifted to Mo Salah there. And then the recruitment, you spend all that money on Darwin Núñez, for example, who's a great player. I think he'll go on to score lots of goals. But for that money, you could have got 2 midfielders who would have showed up the middle of the park and allowed your aging stars to retire into the sunset. So they haven't cooked with it well.
I agree to all of your criticism, but I will just say Champions League is still within reach.
Are you serious?
You see, this is what happens.
6 points.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you meant Champions League as in reversing the 5-2 result against Real Madrid.
I'm going to say this. Welcome to the comedy club.
Yes. We're replacing Man U after all these years.
In the West Ham zone, when your team is crap, there's nothing you can do but make fun of them. Yes. There's nothing you can do to make fun of them. All right, let's wrap this up with a prediction to the game that he didn't want to mention. It used to be a big game. It's not really anymore. Liverpool, Man U, this weekend.
It's still the biggest game, come on.
It's the biggest game for you two, right? Not for me. Okay, I'm 2 for 2 this week. Just so you know, I got the Carabao Cup final and predicted the scoreline, I'm just saying. This week, slightly on the fence, I'm going 1-1. I still think, this is such a cliche, but there is something about those two when they get together. Form slightly goes out of the window. It's at Anfield, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that, I think 1-1. Close, 1-1.
I think also 1-1. I think I would think 1-1 too. Obviously, I hope for a win, but no, nowadays I'm really pessimistic. So
if it was Old Trafford, I'd say 3-1 Man U. Yeah. But I think Anfield, slight difference.
I think Manchester United are gonna eventually fatigue is gonna catch up to them.
You have West Ham coming up in the FA Cup, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got West Ham midweek.
They're terrified.
We have Wolves coming up. I'm terrified too.
And with all this feel-good factor surrounding the club, I do feel there is one banana skin we're going to step on, and I suspect that's going to happen at Anfield on Monday. I predict 2-1 to Liverpool.
Wow, big call. Well, you've heard it here. What do you guys think? Who is going to prevail between Liverpool and Man U? A Liverpool in terminal decline. Let us know all your thoughts and comments and send them to
Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo_MY on Twitter, and Yahoo SEA on TikTok.
Brilliant. Thanks, Raushan. That was superb. He'll be with us for part 2, when we'll be talking all about local football, Singapore football, because the Singapore Premier League is back. See you there.